We all know this story. 1929, the Great Depression. Every time the market even shivers, every expert, every analyst drags out this playbook. Is this 1929? They ask. But what if 1929 is the wrong history lesson? What if the real, terrifying roadmap for 2025 isn't hidden in the crash everyone studies, but in the ones everyone forgot? There are three forgotten crashes that mirror our economy today with chilling precision, and the parallels are undeniable. This isn't about if a crash is coming. This is about which kind of crash it will be.
Crash 1, the Nifty 50, 1973, the lie of invincible stocks. Let's go to the early 1970s. The economy was dominated by a group of stocks so good they were called one-decision stocks. You just bought them. That was the only decision you ever had to make. They were the Nifty 50. These were the invincible growth companies, the world changers, the tech darlings of their day. They weren't just stocks, they were religion. Wall Street had a simple belief. Their growth was so guaranteed that no price was too high to pay, and the prices were insane. Polaroid traded at 90 times earnings, Avon at 65 times, Xerox at 45. Does that sound familiar? Today, we don't call them the Nifty 50, we call them the Magnificent Seven. The entire market is being held up by just a few invincible tech stocks, trading at eye-watering valuations. We're told their growth from AI is so guaranteed that, once again, no price is too high to pay. The setup is identical. But what was the trigger in 1973? It wasn't a sudden panic. It was something slow, then fast. Stagflation. Inflation, ignited by the oil embargo, ran hot, but the economy slowed down. Suddenly, all that guaranteed future growth didn't seem worth as much. When inflation's 10%, a dollar tomorrow is worth a lot less than a dollar today, and the Nifty 50 collapsed. This wasn't a one-day crash. It was a brutal two-year grind down that wiped out an entire generation of investors.
Crash 2. Japan's Lost Decade, 1991, the Zombie Apocalypse. If the Nifty 50 crash was a heart attack, our second forgotten crash was a 30-year coma. Welcome to Japan in the late 1980s, the biggest, most insane financial bubble in human history. The hype was unimaginable. They said the land under the Imperial Palace in Tokyo was worth more than the entire state of California. Japanese companies were buying up the world. Rockefeller Center, Pebble Beach, Columbia Pictures. The Nikkei stock index was at 39,000. It seemed destined to hit 100,000. What fueled this? Decades of easy money, 0% interest rates, and a speculative frenzy in both stocks and real estate. The parallels are uncomfortable. Decades of near-zero interest rates, massive corporate debt, a housing market detached from reality, a stock market that only goes up. In 1990, the Bank of Japan, terrified of inflation, finally did the unthinkable. They raised interest rates, and the bubble burst. The Nikkei index crashed, real estate imploded. But the real lesson isn't the crash. It's what happened next. In America, we're used to V-shaped recoveries. 2008 crashed and recovered. 2020 crashed and recovered even faster. That is not what happened in Japan. The Nikkei didn't recover. It fell and it stayed down for 10 years, then 20, then 30. They call it the lost decade. Why? Why didn't they recover? Because they refused to let anything fail. The government and the banks created a zombie economy. They kept lending money to failed companies to keep them alive. Banks extended and pretended that bad loans were still good. This clogged the arteries of the entire economy. Good new companies couldn't get loans because all the money was being used to prop up the dead ones. The 2025 lesson from Japan is the one nobody wants to talk about. The real danger isn't just the crash, it's the zombification that follows. We're already seeing it. Hundreds of zombie companies on the U.S. stock market that don't even earn enough to pay the interest on their debt. A too-big-to-fail banking system. The 1929 model shows a sharp crash followed by a painful recovery. The The Japanese model shows a crash followed by nothing, just decades of stagnation. A quick V-shaped recovery is not a guarantee. The alternative is a 20-year economic winter.
Crash 3. The Panic of 1873. The New Tech Bubble. Our final forgotten crash is the most direct parallel of all. It's the original dot-com bubble. The year is 1873. The new technology revolutionizing the world? Railroads. Railroads were the artificial intelligence of their day. They were guaranteed to change humanity. They connected the coasts, built new cities, and created fortunes. The hype was identical to the AI boom of today. Massive speculation, fueled by cheap, easy credit, poured into any company with railroad in its name. Investors didn't care about profits, they cared about growth and vision. They were funding a future they were sure was coming. But who was funding all this? Who was packaging all this speculative debt? The biggest, most respected bank in America, J. Cook & Company. J. Cook was the too-big-to-fail bank of its day. He was a national hero. He had financed the Union's victory in the Civil War. He was considered infallible. But he had bet everything on one of these speculative railroad ventures. And on September 18, 1873, the unthinkable happened. J. Cook & Company collapsed. It went bankrupt. The Lehman Brothers moment of the 19th century. The panic was instantaneous. The New York Stock Exchange shut down for 10 days. A brutal depression, then called the Long Depression, followed, lasting for years. The 2025 lesson from 1873 is crystal clear. World-changing technology always creates a speculative bubble, and that bubble is always financed by a credit system that believes it's too big to fail. Today, the AI bubble is real, but it's not just about AI. It's about the massive corporate debt, the venture capital, and the shadow banking system funding it. The thing to watch isn't just the AI stocks, it's the banks financing them. When the modern-day J. Cook fails, when a major bank or credit fund finally breaks under the pressure of bad loans, the entire tech bubble will implode overnight. So what is the real roadmap for 2025? Forget 1929. The history is clear. We are not in one historical moment. We are in a dangerous cocktail of all three. From the Nifty 50, we have the invincible Magnificent Seven, priced for perfection and dangerously vulnerable to the inflation and high interest rates that are now becoming permanent. From Japan's lost decade, we have the zombie economy, a mountain of corporate and government debt that guarantees the next crash won't be a V-shaped recovery, but a long, agonizing winter. And from the panic of 1873, we have the AI and tech bubble, a speculative frenzy built not on profits but on a mountain of cheap credit that is one J. Cook failure away from collapsing. Pause. The story of 1929 is simple. A bubble pops, there's a depression, it gets fixed. The story these forgotten crashes tell is far more terrifying. It's a story of invincible stocks falling 90%, of a lost decade where the market never comes back, and of a new tech bubble that brings the entire banking system down with it. The question for 2025 is not if the bubble will burst, but which of these histories will it follow on the way down?